The music of the Sonic the Hedgehog series has always held up the expectation that every new Sonic game, good or bad, has some banger music, with some exceptions. Sonic Frontiers released last week, and after listening to the soundtrack, I rate it pretty highly compared to the other soundtracks we've seen in the past. That being said, what makes this soundtrack special? And what are the ups and downs? How do they compare to other Sonic games? When writing this video, I asked myself those questions, and those are which I hope to answer in this video, as well as to express my opinions on this game's pieces. With that being said, remember these are my own opinions and you are entitled to disagree, and I hope you enjoy the video. A thing I wanted to get out of the way is the cyberspace levels music. I think these tunes are the most hit or miss in the rest of the game. These levels fit mostly into EDM type genre, and while not my cup of tea, I still find songs that I like in these levels. A few examples are 1-2, 2-5, 3-6, and 4-2. These are some that I enjoyed more than others, especially 1-2. And while playing the game, it just fits the speed and aesthetic the level is going for. I would have to say that the ones that have backup vocals are usually the ones that I find more enjoyable. There are some instrumental only tracks that I do enjoy, but I do find myself considering a lot of the cyberspace themes generic sounding. I think the main reason to that is that the stage themselves, you only go through 4 different level themes: Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and City Escape. Without having a level to base your music style off of, it creates an uninspired and repeated sound throughout these tracks. It's hard to differentiate between all of them. Even the names of the levels are just like numbers. The main idea that these tracks are going for is the idea of cyberspace. I would associate electronic beats with that name as well. They aren't bad, it's just disappointing some of the time without much variety. Some tracks that fit this description mostly consist of later tracks in the game: 3-4, 4-3, and 4-6. I think Cyberspace's tracks overall is 60 to 70% good, while the other batch is very generic and uninteresting. I wanted to categorize this as all the mini-boss themes, quests, and main game tracks. These definitely fit more towards my musical taste, and I would say that I overall enjoyed a lot of the tracks, mainly referring to the mini-boss themes and cutscenes that take place in-game. More orchestral and epic in its sound, they can really create a great experience with the first encounters of each mini-boss you fight while exploring the islands. The islands themes really do fit the areas you traverse in the game. I'm a sucker for desert themes, and I was a really big fan of Ares Islands theme. All the themes of the different islands create variety with different instruments and sounds. The mainline quest tracks aren't too crazy, but some really do pop off, and I think they're worth the listen. Vocal themes are the main takeaway from this game. These are the boss and credit themes. I was really surprised with how thrilling these tracks were and the amount of songs that were in the soundtrack. This was definitely the highlight of the game and really fit the scale and energy of the battles with the Titans. I actually don't see people talking much about the intro tracks before the boss itself. Each of them create a sense of dread and form the idea that this massive giant is something formidable and that you are going to have to overcome it. Going into the Supersonic themes, Giganto's theme was a fantastic first track with a bone-chilling intro that builds about to the rampant amount of energy that bursts forth right in the beginning. It really gets you excited to see what the rest of the game has in store. I'm hanging on to the other side. I won't give up till the end of Following up is Wyvern's theme. It starts off with a blood-pumping intro as you're ready to battle once again with the Titans. This time it gives off the impression of Sonic being more confident and sure of himself. The theme greatly fits the track as you battle the creature in the sky and utterly obliterate it as you slam it into mountains. This is definitely a favorite of mine and is definitely a highlight of this game. I've been here waiting Same applies to the night theme. It gives off the vibe that this is the showdown and you are coming close to the end, and this boss is a lot more daunting with its sword. The sheer energy throughout this piece is very awe-inspiring and the scale of it is truly incredible. Also, I love the part where Sonic literally catches its sword. It's fucking badass.
I'm here to go beyond my limit, not to compromise. And you can tell me if I mean it, looking in my eyes. Cause I've been waiting for my moment to strike. So come close, let me show you what it's like. Yeah, you can try to stand in my path, but you're gonna regret it. I'll be the one who laughs last while I'm making my exit. Cause this is only for the strong of heart, not if you get it. And no matter what the outcome, you better accept it. I can cut like the shell, I can bury the pain. So go down for a second, just get out of my way. Push it in yourself, I'm not letting it go. So take this as the lesson, cause it's all that we know. Will the whole world know your name?
Scream's theme follows with the main theme of the game, I'm Here, with vocals and all. I definitely enjoy this piece, however I do miss the tracks from the other fights. Someone screaming in your ear as you're going blow to blow with a giant motherfucker is something I never knew I needed in a Sonic game. Though I guess that's a lot of the other final fights in a lot of other Sonic games. It fits at being the game's final boss. The actual final boss, the end, is not really a great boss fight, but I think its theme redeems it. It's more of a spectacle. It's not like the other boss themes, but it feels like a finale to me. Something about it just resonates with me fondly, especially with the camera angles and set pieces that were shown in the fight in its cutscenes. Although the idea of fighting a moon is pretty weird. The credits themes are Dear Father, One Way Dream, and Vandalize. Dear Father gives me the impressions I got from Dear My Friend from Sonic Unleashed and Worth the Chance from Sonic and the Secret Rings, both favorites of mine from the series. This song is in reference to the Sage and Eggman and has a lot of emotional beats that I think it nails perfectly. I adore these types of pieces and I always love when Sonic games have these in their credits. One Way Dream is a very great track. Referencing Sonic, I think it describes the thoughts of the character now that the journey has ended and it's time to move forward.
The skies ahead are vast and clear. I hold my breath, step up a gear, feel the wind, smell the air. Chances are everywhere.
Vandalize, on the other hand, is just another banger. Well, when I first heard this track, my expectations for this game's soundtrack skyrocketed. One OK Rock are truly talented, and I'm very glad that they were able to showcase their skills through this game's soundtrack.
Shatter me like glass, covered in scars. But roses are coming through the cracks. Time that you killed, you promised to help me rebuild. It caught me off guard. Sound the alarm.
Now, the title of the video, The Music Identity of Sonic Frontiers. I don't think we've really had this type of soundtrack in Sonic before, aside from the cyberspace levels. It really gives off Metal Gear Revengeance and Dark Souls vibes with its own Sonic spin on it, and I think it raises our expectations from the soundtracks of future Sonic games. I would place this second only to Sonic Unleashed soundtrack. That game's soundtrack almost perfectly encapsulates its setting and themes, but I do not want that to discredit Sonic Frontiers OST and what it tried to achieve. It is definitely among the best Sonic soundtracks. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, consider subscribing. Peace.
Smoke rolls